Hi, I'm Adam Kunzmiller with RPG Geek at Gen Con 2014, and I'm joined by Anton Torres with Fantasy Flight Games.
Hello.
We're here to talk about Dark Heresy. So, what can you tell me about Dark Heresy?
So this is not the Dark Heresy, this is not your dad's Dark Heresy. This is Dark Heresy 2nd edition, okay? So Dark Heresy is where Fantasy Flight Games stepped in to begin publishing Warhammer 40,000 roleplay, and it was a system that we inherited, right? It was a fantastic place to start that line, and over the years, because the Warhammer 40,000 universe is so incredibly huge, we have added more core systems that aren't 100% compatible, but that reveal the rogue trader, the sort of profiteering angle of Warhammer 40,000, the renegade reckless folk, or Space Marines in the Death Watch core rulebook. Mm-hmm. So as we've gone on year after year and producing more content, more supplements and adventures, of course our initial design, the relationship to design changes.
Sure.
Right? Game design is a language like computer languages and the English, other languages. So we had more and more ideas we wanted to introduce to a system that was, in hindsight, was the earliest and the oldest. And so we've taken what will be familiar to players of Only War, which is one of our most recent core releases. We've taken that core system and built around it Dark Heresy 2nd edition. So some touch points. For one, the character development is much more exciting and much more flexible. You'll be selecting not only a home world for your character, which introduces a ton of information and actual game mechanics that will affect your character's expression in the game, but then a background, which is what organization were you affiliated before you were sort of drawn into the world of the Inquisition, which is what we focus on here. And then finally, the role that you play, and which is your character archetype. So before you even start playing, you have this huge breadth and scope of variety and depth to explore about how you want to be, what you want to represent and experience in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So now, Dark Heresy focuses on the Inquisition.
Okay.
And in the world, the grim and dark future of Warhammer 40,000, the Inquisition is the sort of almost invisible group that is not known. Most people don't even know this exists. They work from the shadows, and they have wield tremendous power and responsibility to try and save humanity from the most horrific things that if we knew, you and I as people knew,
Sure,
we would go insane immediately. So they're working on the fringes. And the Inquisition, these Inquisitors, are supported by the player characters, right?
Okay.
There's just a ragtag group, sometimes acolytes of the Inquisition, so much more book smart. Sometimes psychers are involved, so you're on the fringe of dipping your toe into chaos, which is always frowned upon. But we're rooting out corruption and heretics throughout the Imperium of man, like trying to save humanity from these dark threats. So lots of intrigue and shadowy, unknown doings and secret societies and really sort of deep mysteries and then adventure and action if that is your choice.
And this is still one of those more crunchy systems where you can really dig into the very fine details of how everything's fitting together.
Absolutely.
Yep.
This is I say that the devil's in the details, and in this game, it's just a massive book filled with tons of information and lots of rich content, but mechanically it's a dense system.
Right. And for those that are fans of this system, how does this work with some of the past things that have come out?
So as with the other Warhammer 40,000 releases, that design was driven by a very different set of needs. GMs are encouraged to mix and match, but the systems are not 100% compatible, and that is generally just in what some folks, the power levels,
sure,
can differ. I mean, a Space Marine is gigantic being. Right. It's not barely human anymore.
Thing,
right. So the power levels are going to differ, but players have been playing between systems for years, and that's down to the game master, right, to mesh it all together.
Small adjustments to account for what differences might occur, but it's still possible.
Absolutely.
If that's what the players want.
It's absolutely, and players do that, GMs do that all the time. Another exciting bit is there are vehicle rules in this, in the core rulebook. So again, the original system did not include that, but we were able to add it. Finally, this is one of the most beautiful, most evocative books that we have ever released. where every single page has artwork or sort of call-outs that will just draw you in if you're a fan of Warhammer 40,000. I have one. I'm picking up a copy just because I don't have time to play RPGs these days. I'm focused on other minis games.
It's a fun book to flip through, even.
It's beautiful. So,
all right. Well, once again, that was Dark Heresy from Fantasy Flight Games.
thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
That was a good time.
All right, man.